89.9 Garden City Radio. When you hear that sound, you know it's time to talk business. It is Business Advantage on Garden City Radio 89.9 FM. My name is Faustina, and as usual, Maple is in the studio. Maple, good morning.
Good morning, Faustina. Good morning, Port Harcourt. Today is a special day, ain't it?
Yes, it is. Special because we have a guest joining us today. Like Maple said, I'm the anchor, is the host, and of course, Ugochukwu right here is the guest. Ugochukwu, welcome to Garden City Radio. And welcome to Business Advantage.
Thank you, Maple.
You're welcome, bro.
Okay, and Ugochukwu is the founder of Code Kids.
Niger Code Kids.
Niger Code Kids, okay, yes. And of course, he's going to be joining in the conversation for today. So, Maple.
Yeah. So today we're talking about something interesting, something a bit different from what we've always discussed. Yeah, but it's still business. Today we want to talk about resigning from your job to start a business.
Okay.
Yes. Do you wish to resign someday? Are you already contemplating resigning? Or did you just resign and you're wondering, what did I just get myself into? And all of that.
Or whatever the situation is.
Exactly. Once it has to do with resignation to go into business. So today we have a guest, someone who has walked that path. I was sharing before we came on air that I have not resigned from any job before.
Just to go into business.
I haven't had that experience before. So when it comes to things like this, I think it's best we hear from one who has walked the path, and that's why we have Ugochukwu with us today. Ugochukwu is doing amazing stuff. His work is being featured across the world on BBC and all of that.
Oh wow.
Yes. So today he's going to tell us his story. He's going to share with us, his journey from resigning and going into business, But I like to start with a question first, Ugochukwu. Yes, we hear a lot of times people fantasize about wanting to resign from their job so they could have a whole lot of time on their hands.
Yes.
I mean, this job is demanding so much of me,
demanding so much of my
exactly
business.
Yeah, so I want to just resign and do my own thing so I can manage and control my own time and live life just the way I want. I mean,
like I asked.
Is laughing.
Yes, it's like I asked when you said it. I'm like, is it really necessary?
Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to
all of those questions
exactly
are going to be answered by Ugochukwu.
Exactly. So I mean, Ugochukwu, you've walked that path. I mean, what do you have to say?
So what I have seen in the past 4 years now that I've left my job is the fact that it's easier to have a job than to be on your own. Because a job is like, it's a fixed time, 8 to 5 or 8 to 6, even if it's 8 to 8. Once you get home, you don't think about that job anymore. You just shut down
unless you're working
and face your family and other things. You can choose not to think about your job.
Okay,
exactly.
That's
as a business owner. Even 2 a.m. your brain is still thinking. If there are no sales, if it's time to pay your staff and all that, you are thinking of how do I make money the next day. So even when I sit down with my wife, sometimes we don't even have time to talk about our family relationship. It's about our business. How do we do this? How do we get sales? So it consumes everything. Your clients can call you at 6 a.m. They can call you at 12 midnight. They can call you anytime. Okay. And you have to. You should pick those calls if you really want to make sales. So only your own business consumes more of your time, than you work for someone. That's just the truth.
Okay, but you want to say something?
Yes, okay. Because you said that for some people who work like from a 9 to 5 job, when you go home you just shut down, but for some people they go home and that's the time they get to prepare for work for the next day.
Sorry, let me come in there.
Oh, okay.
If I get him correctly, what he's trying to say is, it's within your purview. You have the right to choose.
Okay, choice.
Work closes by 6. So once I get home, no more work for me till the next day, 8 o'clock. And nobody's going to come at you for that. But once it's your business, you don't have that choice at all. That choice doesn't even
exist.
But I want to ask Ugochukwu, how did you discover this? Is it something you've always known before you resigned? Did you discover it after you've resigned? Yeah, because what you've said so far doesn't really sound like what most people who are yet to resign say.
Well, the thing is, I knew that starting my own business was so that I could have more time. But the truth that at the initial stage of starting your own business, sometimes maybe it could be as long as 3, 4, 5 years, you don't have your own time. You will later get to have your time if you build a good business.
Okay.
If you build a good business much later, if you do the right things.
Observation. If you do business better.
I didn't see that coming at all.
The initial stage is just like a plane trying to fly, or to fly. It needs a lot of energy
to
at
fly.
the beginning to really fly. But once it's jumps into the air, it starts to coast. So the first 3, 4 years, 5 years of a business might be that time when you're trying to fly, and it takes a lot of energy. You might be working 18 hours, 19 hours, 20 hours with short sleeps in between, and it's very stressful. So I went into business knowing that I want to have my own time, but I didn't know how stressful it was going to be, at the beginning stages. So, but it's been there and we've been going through it. So
okay, for some people, like you said, you resigned just to face your business squarely, and some people who I think I met a couple of people who would say, okay, my job is demanding, so I need to quit it, and just so I could have time for my business. And while making that decision, or while at that point, are there things that you need to consider? Because that's one of the key reasons people just resign. Time. Are there other factors that maybe in your own case you considered before resigning?
For me, it wasn't a question of time.
Okay. Yours was another factor.
Yes,
okay,
my job I had time on my job, but I wanted to learn how to build a business as early as I could.
Okay.
I didn't want to wait until I was old, or 50 years or 60 years before I start to look for a business to do, because how I see is that everybody will eventually go into business, whether at 20 or 30 or 50 or 60. Somewhere along your lifetime you would somehow touch something called a business. So the earlier you start, the better for you. That's how I saw it. So I chose to quit so that I could start learning how to build a good business before I get old. That's why that was my main reason, to quit my job, and also again to earn more money. I looked at my job. Okay. I looked at what my wife was earning myself, and I looked at the kind of life that we would like to give our kids. What we are earning now. Along this path for the next 3-4 years will not give us that kind of lifestyle. So we have to take the bull by the horn and say, let's quit and start building our own business, so we can make make enough money to give our kids the kind of lifestyle that we want them to have.
I tap into your grace, brother, to make a lot of money.
A lot of money part. Okay, so having walked that path now, and maybe you haven't sat down to take a look at. I'm sure you must have taken a look at, apart from this your factor, this is a reason that you've given that made you quit your job. I'm sure you've sat down to take a look at, probably trying to figure out reasons why people would, quit jobs to, just face their business.
Okay, I think for some people it's time, but for most people again it's still about the money, because starting your own a company or a business, it gives you that, it makes you feel as though you're going to earn a lot more money.
You feel as though.
Yes.
Okay.
You might.
At that point, it's not certain.
It's not certain. You feel as though, because you see other people and you see your boss pay you per month. You say, oh, if he can be paying me this amount, which means he probably earns 10 times more. So why don't I be the one that is earning that 10 times more? So some people quit, not knowing that along the line, in fact, for the first almost 2 years, my business was not paying me. I couldn't earn anything from my business. If I took out any money from the business, it would fold. So but I was paying my staff.
Okay.
You know, so that's the thing. So for some people, it's that thing of, I want to earn more money for myself. I want to have more time for myself and all that. But it's not always the case.
Okay, so it's basically money and time.
Yes.
And another thing I want to ask is really an observation though. Recently, or maybe over time, motivational speakers, Maple. Like,
Maple is not a motivational.
Oh, sorry. No, but you know those quotes, you know those inspirational quote, motivational quotes that want to push you, like you just need to bounce. You know, they've been saying lately that, well, you know, if you're in a 9 to 5 job and all of that, you might not be able to make it in life. You might not. Why not be a boss of your own and, you know, do. Is that a reason, you know, for some people to want to consider resigning from their jobs just so they could, you know, be bosses of their own, because they've been pushed by some inspirational quotes, motivational speeches and all of that?
Let me come in there. I'd like for us to give some time to Ugochukwu to actually share a story with us.
Okay.
Yes, there could be someone out there who needs to hear that story so that it serves as a guide. But I'd like to just say quickly that it all begins from what you really want. What do you really want for yourself? I mean, if you get to do anything simply because someone motivated you to do it and that's all there is to it, you most likely will fail.
Okay.
Yes, so you must have your own reason. Why do you really want to do this? It's very important. That's the beginning point. If you do not know how to swim, you've never attended swimming classes before, you have no life vest or life jacket on, but somebody tells you can do it, just jump into the river. Jump into the river, I say to you. You can do it. Believe in yourself. Jump into that river. You will drown. You will drown straight. The river doesn't have any motivation.
Oh, the man just tell you, don't worry, just jump and, there will be a way out.
You will drown. There is no way out of this one. You will drown. So the point is, what do you really want, right? And what are the steps you need to take to prepare for what you really want? Of course, I believe while Ugochukwu is sharing with us what you need to do to prepare, he's going to touch on that, because I believe that preparation may not be 100% complete.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because you really can't see the end from the beginning. When a pilot sets out, right, the pilot isn't sure of what situations that plane is going to face. If that was known, then there will be no plane crashes in the world, because once you know that this plane is going to crash, then you won't take off in the first place. But you don't see it coming. The storms you may face, the turbulence and all of that, you don't see it coming. However, a plane doesn't take off without taking close look at, have we serviced this? Have we taken care of this? Do we have a spare this? You know, do we have enough fuel to take us through? You know, and all of that. If we have to do many rounds for some storm to clear before we can land, do we have enough fuel that could take us, you know, through those rounds while we hover and all of that? You just have to prepare. There's no pilot that will take off without preparing, in the name of, well, we don't even know what's waiting for us, so you take off just like that. I won't board that. I'll go bicycle.
Anyway, still yeah. City Radio 89.9 FM, and this is Business Advantage, a program that is designed to make you do business better. And today on the program, we're talking about resigning. Those of you who have in mind to say, I want to resign and do business. I want to resign. This job of mine is so demanding. I need some time for my business, or I need to resign. I need that mega millionaire, you know, a lot every month or every day. It could be every month. Are we talking about month now? You're not a worker, like you're not working for government, so you will not be waiting for monthly salary. You could be getting a lot every day as a business person. So maybe you figured that, well, I need to be getting all those alerts, and so I need to resign from my probably 9 to 5 job so I can face my business squarely. This is a program for you. You need to just sit down, you know, increase the volume of the radio set, and then begin to listen. And maybe at the end of the day, you may want to reconsider. So before we go on now, just in case you have any question, you can push it through to this number, SMS number, by the way, to 0908-668-1703. If you have in mind to resign from your job, well, you might want to push your question through to this number, and experts in the studio. Someone who has been there before, yeah, you want to learn from that person. So yeah, Ugochukwu.
Okay. Before we move on, Ugochukwu said something very striking that I think I need to emphasize, which is at some point in life you will go into business, one way or the other.
Okay.
Yes, and I'm trying to emphasize that point because some people would say, but well, I'm not resigning. I think I'm okay with my work. I'm okay with my career path, so I don't need this. So for that reason, they don't read business books. They don't attend business events and all of that.
Okay, for them, they're not business people.
Exactly, but they do need this knowledge because, like he said, someday you will find yourself in business. Some way, somehow. Exactly. For example, if you would love to own an estate, which is something a lot of retirees go into, they want to build properties and give it out on rent. That is business. That is business. How you manage that kind of business and make money, maximize profit from it, is business. So one way or the other, everybody, I mean, even if you're a doctor and so you think that this is your career path, I mean, I'm not resigning to start anything. Someday you may want to own your own hospital, and like they say, it's not a charity organization, right? You would have to learn business. It's better you start learning it now ahead of time than until that moment when it comes upon you. Okay, so Ugochukwu, you have it's a moment. We'd like to hear your story. What led you to resign? Did you take any steps, or you woke up one morning and some spirit just told you, what, just resign? Don't go to work. Just resign. I hereby applied to resign. So what was the process? Just let's hear the story.
It took a while.
Okay.
It took months. It wasn't something that I just jumped into. I started to plan. I had to speak with my wife to tell her, look, this is what I want to do, but of course we can't just jump into it. Even when the thought came into my mind, I didn't have a business idea. There was no business plan. There was no business idea. If you quit, but I just knew that I wanted to leave and start something, but I didn't even know what it was I wanted to start. All right, so it took months, maybe like 6 or 7 months, to think about it. So one thing I'm going to tell anybody is, if you start thinking about that, the best thing you can do for yourself is to start to learn skills. What skill can you learn? What can you learn that you can teach somebody and they pay you for it, or you can do for somebody? So I started thinking about what I wanted to do until I came up with an idea, and when I felt I was in the right place, to quit, I quit. I signed out, but it didn't go as planned. I had an idea to build acoustic panels like all these ones that you see for schools, for churches, and all of that. So I sold my shares in the bank. I had some shares. I sold it just to raise cash to start my business and to keep my family going. Then my wife just gave birth to twins. So it was really like a tight spot, but I felt that it's like, do it now or never. So I just had to jump in. It was a stupid risk I took. But I felt like, look, this was the time to do it. So as I resigned, I put in all my strength into going, to look for jobs, to build all the acoustic panels, and sell them. But for 6 months, I didn't get a single contract, a single job, no sales, no nothing for 6 months, and I ran out of all my funds. I was flat, broke, empty. So that was when I started to consider, do I go back and get another job again, or do I just keep pushing? I didn't know what to do. So I said, okay, I had this skill. Like I said, if you have enough skills, it helps you. Okay. So I play the piano. I teach, choirs and all that. So I started to look for jobs on how to, teach you how to play the piano or train your choir, that kind of thing. So that's how I started. I went to a school, and I told them that I could start a piano club for them. So while I went to talk to them about that club, I just told them that, look, I can also teach your kids how to code. Remember, like I said, have a lot of skills, even skills that you did not know that you have, or that you did not think about. But the fact that you've learned skills all along, or you've been learning so many things, helps. So I knew how to code already. So I just told them I could teach your kids how to code, and I said, okay, that's fine. So I started to teach your kids how to code and also how to play the piano as well. So that was how it started. Then I started looking for new schools that I could also sell those same skill sets to, and that's how it all started. And we're here. We've been running for 3 years plus now, and it's been going very good.
Oh wow, quite a story right there. And this is saying that from what I gathered now, that for you to quit your business, for your job, for you to quit your job, now you must have something by the side, like you called it, skill. You must have something doing, because just giving up your job and going into business, you never can tell what will happen by the way. But if you've got the skill sets, they will just keep you going. Now, having said that, for someone who is considering, or for someone who has been there, and for someone who maybe probably will be there in the future, would you say that, would you advise that if they have that kind of thought, they should just go into it, like you can resign?
I would say plan it. Don't just jump into it. As much as you can, plan it. Have some money set aside, because the truth is that when you start a new business, it's highly unlikely that in the first few months you will make enough money that will sustain you and sustain your and also sustain that your new business as well. So you should have some money set aside, as much as you can, to keep you going until your business kicks off. So don't just jump into it. Plan it, build some skill sets. Ask yourself, if this business does not go on as I planned, what else can I be doing on the side
to keep
food on the table?
Okay.
You understand? If you know how to sing, do I sing and make money, or do I? You should have something that at least puts bread on your table every morning, so that you can think clearly while you're doing your business. That's it.
Alright, still Business Advantage on Garden City Radio 89.9 FM. Today we're taking a look at resigning from your work to go into business full time. Maybe you got something to say?
Well, I want to take us to a different direction.
Okay.
Yes, but before then, I want to just highlight 3 things that I picked out from Ugochukwu's inspiring story. First, don't just jump into it. As much as you can, plan. And then there's a little twist to that, which I also picked up from his story, which is called the gut feeling. It may not be so clear, but once you're convinced within you that this is the time, I like his expression, it's now or never. So once you get to that point when it feels like, I can't plan forever, I can't figure out everything, I'm not even clear on what it is, but I think that it's now or never, then you have to go with your gut feeling. And then the third one is perseverance. When you feel stuck, every money spent, and you have to even consider, should I go back and get another job? Perseverance kicks in at that point. Thank you so much, Ugochukwu. Thank you so much. I want to just take us to a different direction quickly before we wind down on the show today, and which is the fact that you do your business in the city of Port Harcourt.
Yeah.
And right here from the city of Port Harcourt, you've been able to get the attention of international media, even such like the BBC, for example. And they've even had to travel, I believe, down to Port Harcourt to capture your story.
Oh wow, great.
Yes, so where a lot of people see limitations, Port Harcourt this, Port Harcourt that, you seem to be on a different plane. Are you in this same Port Harcourt with us, bros?
Well, you're not Port Harcourt.
So I just want to know, how are you able to stay focused? How are you able to, to achieve such wonderful results. You went to Lagos during the holidays to organize a summer class for children to teach them how to code, and it was a massive success. You went to Abuja to do the same thing. It was a massive success, and from what I gathered from you, your trainers for to teach children how to code, you gathered all of them from Port Harcourt here as well too. I mean, how are you able to do all of this in this same city?
I think there's this myth, that things don't go well in this city, that if you want to blow, you can't do it in Port Harcourt. You have to go out of P but I didn't allow that to stop me, because this was all I had. So I had to make good use of what I had and try to be consistent as much as possible. So I didn't just start and do it for how I got in contact with the BBC is the fact that there is no day that we don't post about what we do on Instagram, on Facebook. So people are watching what you're doing. They want to see consistency. I've had someone call me and give me a good opportunity and said, look, I've been watching you for the past 1 year, but he has never liked or commented or done anything on our post. All he said is that I've been watching you for 1 year. So consistency is key. People only post when things are going well. Just keep on doing what you're doing consistently. There are people that will not trust you the first year. They just want to see, is this guy a scam? Before I give him my money or send my kids to him, let me watch him. Let's see if he's going to be there for the next 1 year. And there are people that saw my flyers and kept them for 2 years. I'm telling you, they saw my flyers, kept them for 2 years, and after 2 years, they called me, look, I want to sign up my son for your camp. I'm like, what? We met in this church 2 years ago, and it's now you're coming to sign up. So that's just how it is. You must do everything to be consistent. Show up day in, day out. Every single time, people begin to trust you when they see that, this guy has been there for this long. That's why you see. That's why you see some firms, they say since 1887, since 1861. You see this kind of firms. They are showing that, look, we've been here since 200 years ago. You can trust us. So to build trust in business, you have to be consistent. So if we started and stopped in the middle, I don't think we would have gained the kind of fame that we have now.
Since 18 beginning. You see, that made me smile, because
sounds heavy.
Because on Monday, our company newsletter that we sent out to clients, right, we wrote about the world's oldest hotel and the world's oldest business. In other words, that is the business that is oldest in the world in terms of a business that is still running continuously, and it has existed so far for 1,313 years. It is still running as I speak to you. I'm telling you, it's everybody who read that newsletter was blown away. So I could relate completely with what Ugochukwu has said. I like to just re-emphasize what you've said, just to highlight it. That look beyond the limitations. People focus too much on limitations while there are also opportunities. So look beyond the limitations, stay consistent, be visible, especially online, and be good at what you do. I'm adding this part because I know that Ugochukwu is good at what he does. If he's not good at what he does, I mean, he won't be here today in our station. Thank you so much, Ugochukwu.
Thank you so much for sharing. Quickly, maybe before you go, let's just look at the flip side. Since you talked about dropping out, giving up a job for business, and you said that you've never done that before.
No.
Quickly, your experience, so people would know. They just,
well, I left school in 2006, and for one reason or the other, it turned out that my name wasn't sent for NYSC, so I spent about a year at home doing nothing, and I had no issues to clear in school. I was on clear standing, so I was late for about a year. So I went for NYSC in 2007, later in 2007, batch C. and then came back from NYC 2008. During that NYC experience, I told myself I wanted to just start a business. I wanted to, have something doing from scratch, what they call hit the ground running. So immediately after NYC, I actually even started the process, during NYC, and immediately after NYC, I just got started. My dad helped me with a space somewhere at OGRA where I was able to launch out from. I started not knowing anything about business. I started out not knowing business plan and all the plenty grammar that we speak on air today. So I started as a novice, somebody who had just come out of school with just passion and a dream. And that is why I tell people that passion and a dream is not enough. It is needed, but it is not enough. Because I had to do a great deal of learning, made a whole lot of mistakes and all of that. But that's why we share those experiences and lessons with others, so they don't have to, go through the long route that we used. But when it comes to resigning, I've had people resign from my own company. Why I never resign from anywhere? So but pretty much that's what it is. I don't have that experience of resigning. I've worked with people and all of that as a partner, as an associate, as a consultant and all of that, but never as an employee. Okay. I do wish though that I worked as an employee. So when people use me as a reference point, I tell them that I really did not have much options. I studied a course in the university where we didn't know from, even when we were selecting that course, when we were to write JAMB, that there were a number of certifications that you needed to be able to work in that sector. Okay. So when we're done with school, put everything together, we needed 650,000 to get different certifications to work in that sector. What? My entire school fees put together for 5 whole years, I'm not sure it was up to 650,000. My mother, primary school teacher, where's she going to get that money from? I don't want to put that extra burden on her. And my younger brother was just about to get into school. She was the one who was going to see him through school. So it only just made sense that, boy, your mother has tried for you. It's time for you to just begin to carve yourself a path. So like Maya Angelou said, I looked back the road where I was coming from and up the road that was ahead of me. I didn't like what I saw, both behind and ahead. So I just had to step out and cut myself a new path.
Oh wow, it's been a great one today on the program.
Yeah.
Okay, apart from those ones now, any last words that you want to say before you go, Maple?
Well, I basically just think that whether you choose to resign or not, just know that at some point in life you need to go with your gut feeling. And also, like we also mentioned earlier, you definitely would have to do business one way or another. By the way, you can do business even though you're an employee, so you definitely need business knowledge. It's called entrepreneurship, right?
Yes, entrepreneurship.
Exactly. And these days, employers actually even draw those who are entrepreneurs closer. Those who are employees, but they think and function like entrepreneurs within the organization, the company where they work. I'm sure even Ugochukwu, if he has such a person in his company, he will draw to your country. Exactly, you'll be more valuable. It is easier for you to negotiate a higher pay, and all of that, because what you do helps the company to grow. So please and please, everybody needs at least some basic business knowledge. That's my last word. Everybody needs some basic business knowledge. You just can't tell where life will throw you. I don't wait until you're suddenly sacked and then you become a sudden or accidental entrepreneur.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so just gather whatever basic knowledge you can.
All right, last words, Ugochukwu.
I think the best thing that you can do for yourself is to learn as fast as possible, because the faster you learn, the faster you can earn.
All right, thank you so much for listening to today's edition of Business Advantage on Garden City Radio 89.9 FM. Maple and Ugochukwu have been in the studio, and Ugochukwu has given us his experience of how he resigned from work just to face business and all of those roller coaster ride. I'm sure if you're considering it, well, you've learned a thing or two about it, and maybe you think and plan. Don't just delve into it, just plan ahead and make sure that you're really ready for it. So thank you so much once again. We'll be back again next week Friday for another edition of Business Advantage on this frequency. At top of the hour, I'll bring you the news at noon, so keep it locked down on 89.9 Garden City Radio.